so hungry all the time? You ever ask yourself why you're always hungry? There is a lot of energy and calories that can be used, but we can't seem to access it in our body. Most overweight people have about 17,000 calories that are stored in their bodies, but only about 1,700 calories of stored sugar, even though our body always wants to use that stored sugar instead of our fat. But we can't tap into it. There was an experiment done in the 1960s with a 27-year-old Scottish man who fasted 382 days. He weighed well over 400 pounds, and after 13 months of no food, he lost 276 pounds. He was 460 to start, so he was down to about 170. Of course, he did this under medical supervision. This article is called Features of Successful Therapeutic Fast. This man had close to 1 million calories of energy as stored fat. The average American has 28 pounds of extra fat on their body. But why are we still hungry? Research has found that as long as the body is in a fed state, so you're always eating, always snacking, and insulin levels are high, the body mostly uses blood sugar from food coming in and not the fat that we already have. The high insulin causes the body to prevent the stored fat from being released and used. So while we're constantly eating, the body mostly uses sugar from food. When you eat, you cause your body to burn sugar for several hours. It just depends on the person. It can start in 2 or 3 hours, or it might not start for several hours. But after about 8 to 10 hours, your body finally switches to eating your stored fat for energy. Your body has been used to using the sugar you've eaten as fuel, making you feel hungry and tired all the time if you're not constantly eating. Your brain and body's job is to keep you alive and don't want you to use your stored fat for energy. Fasting is your body's way of switching from using blood sugar from what you've eaten to using your fat for energy. You don't have to keep from eating food for long periods of time. Just stop eating earlier at night and eat a little later in the morning. Also, quit the habit of snacking all the time. Insulin is the master hormone of the fed or fasted state. While you're in a fed state, your body is using sugar, and the use of your fat stored is greatly reduced or not used at all. The most important reason you have fat is to protect you from starvation. It will be used when you're not eating. If you look at people from decades ago, and they're always slim. And so it wasn't until about 50 or 60 years ago that all of these processed foods came into our life. And so the manufacturers of these processed foods are trying to tell us in between meals you need chips and cookies and, all these packaged things. And it's just become a huge part of our life. And, processed foods are so bad for you anyway. I think there's 74% sugar and other things that you definitely don't want in your body. But these things help us to, keep this weight on. So when we continue to snack, our insulin levels rise for a long period of time, and then we crash right afterwards. In just a few hours, we feel hungry again, and the cycle just keeps going. We barely get into a fat-burning mode at all. Even those who are on a low-carb diet aren't always using their fat stores due to constant snacking to keep this going. Here are some other reasons you may feel hungry all the time. It's not just this. There are some other things. If you're not really hungry, you could just be thirsty, tired, or stressed. Too many refined carbs and not enough protein, so eat more protein. Overeating has become simply a habit of boredom. Keep a food journal to see if you're really hungry or just anxious or bored. Eat quality high fiber foods and natural high fiber foods like fruits and vegetables that are not processed. You may be hungry because you're blessed to have a fast metabolism. I think very few of us are blessed to have a high metabolism, but some do, and they're hungry all the time. You eat a lot of processed foods like fast foods and anything that comes out of a box, including pasta and sweets or out of a bag. These will cause a spike in your natural in your sugar levels and will make us feel hungry all the time. Refined sugar is the worst offender. Hormonal issues like PMS and thyroid issues can feel more prone, make us feel more prone to hunger too. If your thyroid is high, you will burn calories faster, but you also will be hungrier to make up for it, which leads to those insulin spikes. Not sleeping enough will prevent your hormone leptin, which is the hormone that helps you feel satisfied and not hungry, to be depressed. And instead, you will be getting ghrelin, which is the hormone that causes you to be hungry. I've definitely experienced that. It seems like when I don't get enough sleep and I'm really tired, I just want to eat and eat and eat. And I always wondered about that. So I guess that is the reason, is a hormonal disturbance. So ghrelin sends hunger signals to our brain, and this will be activated instead. So, but also some medications can make you really hungry and make you gain weight. So if that's the case, you need to talk to your doctor to have that changed. Eating more fat and protein will help stimulate the leptin hormone, the one that keeps you satisfied. And go back, if you don't know exactly how this works and how to keep your insulin down and your glucose down, go back to my video, Have Your Cake and Eat It Too, which was published on February 1st. And it will give you some really good ideas on how to keep that insulin and glucose down so that you won't have so much hunger. So if you're feeling hungry, drink water. Wait a little bit and see if the thirst, if that's the problem. Maybe you're just thirsty. Maybe you won't feel hungry anymore. Personally, I don't drink, but alcohol is a stimulator of appetite. Not only while you're drinking, but you will wake up more hungry. And restaurants know this. They know that if they can get you drinking at the beginning, when you first come in, that you will be more hungry. You will